are Larry Hazard Jr., Ron McNair, and John McKay. Your referee in charge of the action is Arthur Mercanti. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with the blue trim. He weighed in at 213 pounds. His professional record, 19 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw with 13 wins by way of knockout. He comes from Sacramento, California. Let's welcome famous Mike Sims. His opponent fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with the gold trim. He weighed in at 234 pounds. He is undefeated in his professional career, 24 wins, no losses with 17 wins by way of knockout. He comes from Finchley, England. Let's welcome Roman Greenberg. 10 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division.
Referee again, Arthur Mercanti Jr.
Good evening, gentlemen. You received your rules early tonight by the New York State Athletic Commission. I expect a nice, clean fight. Touch gloves. Good luck to the both of you.
Greenberg, 8 years younger, and he's really outweighing Sims, who was a natural cruiserweight for much of his career, but is 5 out of 6 against heavyweights. But this is his toughest challenge by far.
Sure is, but he is a spoiler in the ring. He has a vexing style, Michael Sims does. He's hard to hit. He's very elusive in the ring.
Hey, touch gloves, get it going. Here comes Roman Greenberg, a guy who likes to take his time and loves it when you come to him. But Sims is going to vows to keep the jab in the face, establish that jab, control the rhythm and distance, and that's really crucial for his chances tonight.
Very important. I've known Michael Sims for a long time, and he was a good fighter. He worked to the body, worked to the head, he maneuvers well in the ring. He's wise beyond his years in the ring. He is 32 years old.
And now Greenberg not wasting any time. He just was looking and seeing how Sims, what he moved, how he moved, what he had, tasted a couple of jabs, and then began to fire back a few of his own. But now it's Greenberg just circling with that left hand, trying to unload some power shots. Sims covering up and gets a chance to escape the ropes as Greenberg let him do so.
Greenberg's got a nice jab. You got to use that more. He's got a good right hand. There's a good hook from him. He said that's one of his best punches. He's got a sneaky hook. It goes around the outside and cracks his opponent. He says his style, he's still learning. Roman Greenberg does. He says, I take no unnecessary risks. His best punch, he says, is his left hook, but he's got a good right cross, too. There's a left hook from him. Look at him pawing with that left, trying to give his opponent something to look at while he's loading up on that right.
Is that a good idea, or would he be better to really just stuff that jab in his face?
Everybody's different. Sometimes it's a good idea, sometimes it's not.
And now he stuffed the jab and came back with a right to the body.
Like
so that jab set up the power punches. Oh, big solid hits. You could hear them as Greenberg begins to unload.
So can Michael Sims.
Oh,
Sims.
Good left hook from Sims.
Hooking off a jab.
Doesn't follow up with anything, and now he'll cover up. He catches those shots, but prefers not to counter. Greenberg with that left hand low. He's got the right hand cocked. And very quick left hand from Roman Greenberg from not the most advantageous angle.
Well, you know something, it comes at you from a different angle, though. It's working for him. He holds it down low, and he sweeps it up. Kind of a jumping jab, uppercut, kind of a punch. There's a good right hand from Sims.
Half minute to go in this first round. Roman Greenberg on the right. It's Michael Sims with his back towards us. So Sims has tasted some power shots from Greenberg, and it's Sims coming forward now, but not sticking the jab, which is a huge mistake. He's got to get there first. Why he's taking those shots and not catching and countering is beyond me, but we'll see as we finish out the first. Sean, I got to tell you, I saw Sims give Roman Greenberg a nod, like nice first round. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Well, sometimes it is. For a fighter like Michael Sims, it is. Because Michael Sims is not a forceful fighter. He doesn't fight angry. He fights well when he's not mad. If he's mad at somebody in the ring, he can't fight him. He can't hit him. It's a good thing for Michael Sims, but because he's working in there.
Well, what about if you're the opponent and the guy smiles at you saying, "Boy, great job, pal"? Well, doesn't that? I mean, you think
never bothered me.
You just disregard it. The guy is trying to. It's a false compliment. I don't want to be friendly with this guy. I wouldn't want to be. He's trying to tear your head off.
I've never found that to be insulting.
I don't think. Always... No, not insulting. I just don't know if it's a factor or not.
No, to me, it was never a factor.
Roman Greenberg on the left. He's undefeated in 24 fights. 17 by KO. Greenberg now gets up on his toes a little bit.
And I'm really excited to see Greenberg. I've heard about him for some time. To see him in the ring is really good to see that he is a good fighter. He's got some good style.
Well, he's coming off 3 straight stoppages. He's never really been challenged as a pro. Although he did say 2 fights ago in Monte Carlo he had to rally. He was down early against Alexei Varaka. Not down literally, but he was behind, he felt. So he had to do some adjusting. Sims is letting Greenberg set the tone of this fight, though.
Well, he kind of knew what to expect with Sims. He said he's a fast counterpuncher, and he says, I do prefer fighters to come after me, but I'll have to adapt with Sims. Downstairs to the body goes Greenberg. Greenberg, a silver medalist in the Junior World Championships in 2000.
You know, when they talk, and Sims told us, jab in the face for sure, Sean. He's got to stick that jab. But if he's a natural counterpuncher, he's just not comfortable making the play. So what should he do? Now he's probing with the jab. So does he be first or does he catch and counter?
I always like to be first. I like to hit him back first.
Even if you're a natural, as you said, he's a natural counterpuncher, though.
Yes.
So can he change up, or must he change up against Greenberg?
He's been around the sport. Yeah, he's been around. He's been a boxer for a number of years as an adolescent, and you know. Now he's 32 years old, so he knows.
I just feel personally that you know, he's either got to get off first, because when he's still standing there and he's not in a good position to just counter, because he's going to eat some unnecessary shots like that to the body as he waits and now tries to return fire.
And he's in there with a guy with 21 pounds over his weight, so for Greenberg, he maybe wants to muscle him around a little bit.
No, if I was Sims, though, I'd be punching and getting out, and getting out.
Sure. And trying to get the angles. But Sims is a fighter, too, that conserves his energy. He doesn't waste energy by bouncing around the ring. Look at that. Nice jabs from him. That's a good jab. Greenberg with the strength. Upstairs.
Greenberg begins to unload. There's that big right hand. He sinks it to the body, and that got Sims' attention big time. Sims catching. Greenberg wisely goes low. He goes upstairs, and that opened up the body for him. So he's setting up Sims, it seems, for something bigger to come.
Let's look at Roman Greenberg, a deep breath. You know, it would worry me to fight somebody like a Sims at this point in my career when you're Greenberg. Greenberg needs somebody to come after him and he can crack him and knock him out. He's got to show his power and prove his worth in his heavyweight division. Sims is a difficult fighter to do that against.
Well, then he's going to have to go and get him.
And he tried to go and get him back in that second round. It was Greenberg going to the outside. Look at the hands of Sims. He knows the power. He feels it in through his gloves. Sims, his hands up around his face. He is certainly cognizant of what's coming.
Well, that's what Greenberg fans want to see more of. Sometimes he's been accused of being too laid back, and they want him to be more aggressive. And against a much smaller guy, this is the time.
And you can do that against somebody like Sims, former cruiserweight, moved up to heavyweight. And if you're Sims too, you must use your speed. You're in there with a guy that is a full-fledged heavyweight. Use your speed. This is the angle. There's a nice jab. Well, he's got a nice jab too. Sims does.
He jabbed and picked off a little clawing jab with his right hand. Greenberg just taking his time here.
Very patient. Greenberg has the patience of a much older man. He's 24.
Well, I suppose patience and perseverance.
Big uppercut.
Is keeping in character of Roman Greenberg. Here's a guy who twice avoided bombings at home in northern Israel during this conflict with Lebanon last year. Virtually was seconds from being blown up.
Look at him wipe that left hand. Look, Greenberg is kind of trying to confuse his opponent with that left. I'm going to hit you with a lefty. He waves that left around, and then sometimes he'll throw the straight right.
But what do you do? Why should you wait on him? What should you do when a guy does that?
When the guys, I say jab, jab. When you don't know what to do, jab. Jab is the most effective weapon in boxing, both offense and defense. Jabbing
absolutely
will utilize anything. It'll start anything. It'll stop anything. Jabbing is the key. Whoever controls the jab controls the fight in 90% of the cases.
Well, let's see some more jabs from either guy. There's a good left-right from Greenberg. Greenberg on the left, and as you said, Sean, you mentioned earlier, work in progress. I think he's been very content with the left-right because it's been effective. I would love to see a follow-up hook from him occasionally.
Sure. Most of the time, that's all he needs to knock out his adversary.
Right.
You know, I would too. I'd like to see a combination downstairs, upstairs, mix it up, or upstairs, downstairs. A big explosion from Greenberg. What you do in so many fights is you slow the tempo down to your speed, and then you all of a sudden you explode.
There was that hook, and then he went upstairs.
Like
that was a 4-punch combination, exactly what we've been looking for.
Nice.
There's a double jab, and then followed by that right over the top from Greenberg. Now Sims chasing, but doing nothing, not punching his way in. Now he's standing around doing nothing. That's a dangerous thing. Greenberg able to time him here, and now I'll muscle him as we close out the third round. We're in New York. Roman Greenberg trying to stay undefeated against Michael Sims.
Well, turning up the pace a little is Roman Greenberg. Look at these combinations, mixing the attack, even the jab, cross, and an uppercut from Roman. There it is again. Jab, cross, mixing it up. Roman Greenberg, different style. Michael Sims has seen a lot of this, but can't stand around and wait. When you get to a point in your career where you're a little on the other side, you sit there and wait for openings. You can see the openings, but you can't hit them. Looks like that's where he is at this point.
All right, we head to round 4. Nick Charles with Sean O'Grady ringside at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Roman Greenberg on the right, undefeated. Michael Sims, 32 years old, coming off a loss, has to win this fight, has to do a lot more. There, he starts to pump the jab, but not working behind it, just those little single shots. There, double jab, but not much on that second one at all. Greenberg just trying to time those little rushes and make the play when he wants to. Now it's Sims probing to the body.
Trying to control the tempo. I've seen it so many times with fighters that are maybe past their prime, like maybe Sims might be. You see it, they just stand around. They stand around way too much. They're waiting for something to happen, and you can't do that.
Well, can I tell you, I want to see
fights.
I think Roman Greenberg has to make stuff happen. There's no need for him to stand around. He can walk through this guy, in my opinion, and I think he should. Why is he being cautious? I mean, he's picking his shots. And as you said, he'd rather play it safe.
That's our opinion, sitting over here at ringside.
There, now he starts to rev it up. No, I'm not being disparaging. I just think that the observation is I think hitting on, he's not a risk taker, as you said.
Yeah, but it's not the time.
But it's not as entertaining for some people.
Sure, it's not, but it's not the time. He is a very, like I said earlier, very patient fighter, Greenberg. The time is not right. Michael Sims is not ready to go. Michael's still trying. He's punching back. He's still dangerous. Greenberg does not want to run into something. Sims has power, even though he's a smaller heavyweight. He's still got power and he's got speed.
I'll buy that.
You have to percolate a little bit. It's not time yet. Plus, if you're Roman Greenberg, you need airtime. You need time on TV.
I think you need to make the deep impression on TV. There's some body shots as he creases Sims repeatedly to the body. This is what the fans are on their feet about now, or getting into this fight a lot more, as Greenberg is really dialing up the offense. And Sims with a wild shot. Boy, winking at each other, a lot of respect. Oh, crack. That right hand to the body by Greenberg, followed to the head, and that seemed to stir Sims into some action.
Yeah, Sims just does not have the power that Greenberg has. You know, he's 234 pounds coming at you. Those punches is a heavy shot.
Yeah, he's big. Look at his legs. He's a powerful man.
Very thick.
Greenberg elects to back up into the corner and let Sims tee off as we finish out the fourth here in New York.
That was close to sell that.
4 rounds down. Roman Greenberg looks pretty good. You know, pleasantly surprised at the way he looks so far. He's aggressive. He looks like he's relaxed in the ring. He knows his way around the ring. He's throwing good combinations, solid punches. He's going to the body well, going to the head well. But you certainly see a different power behind and force behind his punches than you do behind Sims.
Zab Judah from Brooklyn, New York, out of the boroughs into the big city. You gotta hope he has that family plan. We hit the 5th round, scheduled for 10. Roman Greenberg on the right, Michael Sims in the red and black. Sims now pumping the jab. Let's see if that right hand follows, Sean.
It seems like Sims comes out every round with a faster start, a little more perk in his step and a little more crisper on his punches. Then as the time wears on, the 3 minutes, in that final minute, it's Greenberg who kind of takes over.
Well, Greenberg just patient. He really hasn't done anything offensively. And why not Sims with those single shots? He'll double the jab occasionally there. Now trying to pick off Greenberg simply with the jab. Greenberg now forces the action, but it backs off center of the ring.
Greenberg just a different type of fighter. Look at Greenberg's, feinting over here. He's twisting. He's turning.
You like his defense?
I like it. His hand is low, but he's not getting hit with overhand rights. There's been nothing that Sims has done to make him lift that left hand.
Well, at least he is. I like the head feints, too. Anytime you see any of that in a heavyweight, it's a plus.
Fans don't like the patience. They want to see some punching. But remember, the first part of the round, Michael Sims scored pretty well. Here we are at the middle of the round.
Greenberg with about 8 unanswered punches now. And Sims has got to get out of trouble. He's taking a pounding here. Greenberg with free shot after free shot. Nothing coming back from Michael Sims. So is it time now, Sean, to close in a little bit more?
I would say now would be a perfect time for an explosion. The crowd's told you.
I'm with you.
The crowd's told you. We've seen enough of this. Greenberg does not want this to become banal.
Well, again, it goes back to Greenberg what he told us yesterday. I want to be a world champion my way. And the implication is that caution might be the best way to get there. I'm not going to take unnecessary chances or punishment. I'll last a lot longer. But he's in against a guy who can't hurt him, in my opinion. And now, this is what we've come to see. Greenberg unleashed that power. Free shot again after free shot. Look.
But it still looks like Greenberg looks like he doesn't have the trigger on the punches. You know, they're not fluid yet. He's still pushing the punches. Sims coming back, they're trying to a bit. Well, Sims kind of walked through that round till right at the end. I'd like to see him get busy, especially whenever Greenberg attacks, he must attack back. And it was in that last round that Greenberg was attacking, and there was no response from Michael Sims. Here's Greenberg downstairs looking for those body shots, looking for those ribs. Then he comes up to the head, and sliding down the rope is Sims, but nothing back, no retaliation from Sims. See more of him, the back and forth battle. Michael Sims has to steal the playback away.
We hit the sixth. It's clear to me, Sean. Would you argue that Roman Greenberg's pitching a shutout? No doubt about that.
I wouldn't argue the veracity of that.
Here comes the same pattern now.
Yeah, Michael said to me today, his fight plan is a steady rhythm off the ropes, moving style. He said he was watching Holyfield against the bigger guys like Riddick Bowe.
Well, Riddick,
heavyweights.
When he said that, it struck me the couple times when Evander failed against Bowe was when he stood there and tried to duke with him. And a much bigger man just eventually melted him down.
But it was pretty exciting.
Oh,
it was
no
pretty
question. I saw every one of them ringside, and they were epic.
Well, I had to watch from way in the back because my seats were way up there.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
you didn't pay for yours.
You had those front row seats.
You didn't pay for yours.
Oh, we all pay.
You have to lose more money in Vegas to get those seats.
The crowd getting on to Greenberg now.
Well, again, Michael Sims, in my opinion, is in a fight he can't win. I say that, and Greenberg's in a fight he could only lose if he gets absolutely careless. Why not go for it here?
Well, the real danger in this fight is that Michael Sims could make you look something besides exciting.
But I don't think he's moving enough and throwing enough back to do that. I don't think that. I don't think Sims. I don't think there's any danger, Sean. I disagree.
Right, I agree with you. There's no danger. But the danger here is that Greenberg exposing Greenberg to make him look like he is a banal fighter. That's what the danger is.
So in other words, Greenberg should be getting him out of it.
Yes, that's correct. But Michael Sims is that kind of fighter. Whenever I heard Greenberg is going to fight Michael Sims, I thought, well, why would he fight him? That guy is he's hard to look good against. He's wily in the ring. He's wise. He understands boxing. He just goes through the motions though to make you look bad, not to win these rounds. He's in there to survive.
His offense is absolutely benign here, and Greenberg with free shot after free shot here.
Remember, George Foreman could not fight any Jimmy Youngs. And that's what we're seeing here. Greenberg's got to be careful that he's fighting these kind of fighters. And no doubt about it, Jimmy Young was an outstanding, great fighter.
His defense.
He was spectacular. And Michael has good defense, but no offense. You got to have offense to win fights.
As he covers up and waits for another salvo from Greenberg. It's not as if he covered up, catches shots, and returns fire on the counter. Sims doing none of it as we close this out.
Let's go ahead.
Southpaw. What do you think? Mikey, you got him fucking ready. All you gotta do is let your hands fly. Keep breathing and counting those body shots, man. It's wide open.
You gotta show me something, all right?
All right.
Stand there. I'm good. I'm going with shot.
Yeah, it's okay.
Round 7. Round 7.
Mikey, like it's the last fucking fight of your life, baby. You can do it too. This dude is ready for you, man. Put the more than one though. Put the more than one.
Mouthpiece in. Seconds out.
More than one, Mikey.
Go in that corner, gentlemen.
7th round here at Madison Square Garden. Nick Charles for Sean O'Grady ringside. Roman Greenberg, a clean sweep on the cards. Fans got a little anxious there in the midway through. They want to see Greenberg get Sims out of there, I would think.
Or in a little bit of a challenge. You know, it's even Sims as a part of this too. He comes out again, the first part of every round, he comes out and he tries to set the tempo for that round. As the round wears, he slows down and Greenberg picks it up.
Exactly. Good 3-punch combination from Greenberg there. So jab, right hand, followed by that left again. Like to see more of that. Greenberg with pretty good hand speed for a heavyweight. Double jab. And now Sims comes back with a jab, and then Greenberg counters that. Now each guy waiting for the other, and Greenberg content to make the play. So they're unanswered shots, and referee Arthur McCandy warns Greenberg to keep the punches up. That was absolutely clean. That belt line's a little low on Michael Sims, so he's even a more inviting target below the ribs, kidney area. The belt line well below the navel of Michael Sims, so there's a big inviting target down low for Roman Greenberg to hit.
But there's not been that big defining punch that I've seen from from Greenberg that I'm still looking for.
Saw a couple of good combinations.
Yeah,
he may not be a one-punch guy
right,
by any means, but yeah, you want to see what we've seen a couple of times in this fight, and really let his hands fly.
We were talking earlier about some trainers from him from America or local trainers that could really help him ascend to the next level. They're trying to do the best they can in England. He works out Finchley, England, about 14 miles from London. He's out in the country. They got him chopping wood.
Sounds very bucolic. Very bucolic, but does that help him as a fighter? You think he should move?
I think so. I think there's certain trainers that they got Burgess Merediths out there in the sport that can use rock'em sock'em robots and take a fighter to the next level. And he is to the level where he could step up.
Oh, there's no question, and it's not a chauvinistic statement. The best sparring, certainly among heavyweights, is here in America.
The best sparring and the best teachers, the professors of boxing. And for somebody like Michael Sims, I really hate to see any fighter take unnecessary punches. Michael, I think he's out of this fight. He's not going to win, but he looks like he's going to hang in there for the distance.
He's trying here as we close out the 7th.
Sometimes those fighters like Michael Sims are a little too tough for their own good. He hangs in there, but I tell you, he does a lot of interesting things that hopefully Roman is learning in this fight. Interesting things like rolling with the punches, like bobbing and weaving that Roman could utilize into his repertoire.
Really got to belt it. Body and head.
Look at the little scars, little scratches on Roman's face. He's getting hit.
A head to the 8th is scheduled for 10 heavyweights. Roman Greenberg on the right. Michael Sims trying to win a round here. He did come on, had his moments the final 20 seconds of that 7th.
And I'll tell you something, by the 8th round, you can see the 10th round. You can see that there's light at the end of the tunnel. If you can make it in so many fights to the 8th round, many times your opponent's punches subside, he slows down, he gets tired, so you can make it another 3 rounds really. The 8th, the 9th, and the 10th.
Now Greenberg trying to cut the distance. He gets clocked as Sims rarely gets that full extension on that jab. He did that time. He's doing nothing to really discourage Roman Greenberg, though. Greenberg stuffs the jab, right hand over the top. Sims has picked up his pace the last round in this one, so credit him for not giving up on this fight. Sean, what should Greenberg be doing now?
Well, I still like the attack that he's using. I would like to see, more punches. He starts late in the round. I'd like to see him stay on the body. He's kind of abandoned that and then come up to the head. There's a lot of things that these are the kind of fights that you need to have so that you can go to school. Yeah, to improve. You got to take what you see here, and I know fans are disappointed, and rightly so. There's not a lot of action in this fight, but Greenberg has to take this and learn from it. What can I do to make it more interesting or more valuable to the people that came to the fight?
Does Sims look dangerous in any way to you right now?
No, not at all. Not at all. I take that back. Every fighter is dangerous. Getting hit, every punch hurts, and every fighter is dangerous. I don't think he's not really taking the initiative to say to me that he really wants to win this fight, Michael Sims.
I'm not taking those shots, but I would conclude that Travis Sims has nothing to scourge or hurt Roman Greenberg, and I think it's time to start thinking about closing this show.
Sure, if you're Roman.
Man in black.
Yep.
Oh, a nice left hook from Greenberg. Greenberg's hands are down. Now he lets his hands fly.
There's a trick in boxing that trainers can teach you. Thumb up, thumb down. Every punch, you got to pronate the blow. It looks to me like Greenberg is not pronating the blow. He's punching with his thumb up. And that is just one of the many things, the many traits that he would learn with, maybe some new trainers or a different direction in his career. A finishing trainer that comes in and just finishes out a fighter, show him the little tricks like that, the turns, the maneuvering, the tempo, the pace. We certainly do see a different complexion of the fight here in the 8th and going into the 9th round than we saw in those first 3 rounds, and that's one of the things I really wanted to see from Roman Greenberg tonight. The difference.
Roman Greenberg's an interesting guy, Sean, to me. He's certainly not a pure pressure fighter, but to be a boxer puncher the way he is, and he hits with some power with both hands. I don't dislike his style, but at the same time, I would like to see more aggression.
Improvement, and a little more improvement. Yeah, I agree with you.
Let's see if we get it here in the 9th. Now it's Sims squared up. He went southpaw, and he's still southpaw.
Sure, why not?
I don't know why.
What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? You might lose a round.
He might get knocked out.
We talked about the safety of Greenberg going against Sims. There's been nothing really to show me from Roman at this point. There's a sense of urgency. If there's any danger with him either.
As a fighter, when you know you've dominated, again, you want to entertain fans, but you want to win. But he's never been hurt, never been in any danger. Nothing wrong with that being enough, I suppose, but you can't do that indefinitely.
Not at all.
And be a star.
Not at all. He needs to have a defining fight. This is not it, obviously, but a defining fight where there is a sense of urgency, where there's a hush over the crowd during the fight, where there's a possibility you might get hurt, you might get knocked out. Now coming on a little bit of Greenberg, but still just pushing these punches, not really snapping them off.
I really like his body work and that he's so committed to the body. I do. Oh, borderline. There is Greenberg snakes that jab through. And then he'll rip to the body. There's a good short overhand right from Greenberg.
Greenberg has a lot of skills, but he's like a fighter that's a young fighter that he doesn't know what he doesn't know. The tricks that I was talking about earlier, like the pronating the blow, like the closing of the fist, there's something he's doing that he's not able to knock out the fighters like Michael. Now, Michael's a wonderful fighter, don't get me wrong, but you got to get these kind of fighters out of there, the survivors. Sense of urgency.
Sims is the guy fighting with some fire here in these last couple of rounds, so he's not just packing it in by any means. Greenberg thudding right hand at times. Now he tries to rip the uppercut through. And he's able to tee off as Sims has stayed in the southpaw stance. And credit Greenberg, he's figured out that stance pretty well. And now we see Sims back orthodox, and he gets cracked for the change.
Well, Roman was an accomplished amateur fighter, so he's seen the southpaw stance many times in the amateurs.
Boy, but it's still a bear to deal with,
I hated it. No, I have 3 of my 5 losses to southpaws. They're vexing.
Winding down round 9 here at the Garden in New York.
That's it. Stop holding now.
And that's it. One more round to go. Greenberg looks. He was tired, but
right old chair up there, right? Now listen, when he goes southpaw, his power feeling better. No, his power end is his front end. So that's his power there, right? Just fucking walk right and belt him. Okay. All right, don't miss about. No, when he's southpaw, I feel better. I thought it must be more.
Need a knockout. Last round, champ. You won? Let's go.
Come on, Mikey. And that jab downstairs and come up with the right. Fucking duck into the body. Come up with that right hook. Let's go.
Он хочет с тобой драться, сделай. Пусть себя.
Get him.
Seconds out.
Sean, final round. Both guys look relatively fresh to me. Nobody looks absolutely fatigued. And one guy's been on the receiving end of most of the stuff.
Well, remember back, I said at the beginning of the 8th round, you could see the light at the end of the tunnel, and by the 10th round, you got 3 more minutes. It was important for me to see Greenberg in the 10th round. It's important for me to see how he reacts, how he behaves.
So you're Roman Greenberg. You're in the 10th round, Madison Square Garden. What do you do now?
Well, for me, you still go for the knockout. You still try to blast your opponent. If you're in the 10th round, the final round, you get to go home after this. But if not, just throw everything you have. A lot of times in that final round, just let it fly. Just build up the point. Don't worry about the knockout. Just build up the point. And it's surprising how many times you do that and you knock out your opponent.
And the crowd's with us on this one.
Crowd chanting, Roman, downstairs to the body. Good shot, and Michael knew it.
Sims, to his credit, has had his flashes of offense more in the second half of this fight than he had at the beginning. Right hand by Greenberg as he cuffs. One of the very few clinches. Arthur McCandy really hasn't had to bust these guys up much.
Well, when you don't know who the referee is in the fight, then we all know who Arthur McCandy is, but he's been quiet.
For heavyweights, that's quite a thing.
Sure, and then you look at Sims too, and I was talking about those fighters that may be on the other side of that hill. Sims is doing just enough to lose these rounds, If he did a little bit more, he might win, at least pick up a few rounds. But he's been swept on every round on this fight, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
On my card. And he does that because he's doing everything he can to lose every round. It's tough.
Now Greenberg again trying to hammer the shots home and maybe break down his opponent here in the closing seconds. Leaning on him. Sims trying to push Greenberg off, punching more now. Greenberg eating shots, and that seemed to wake him up. Now he's got Sims in the center of the ring. They laid on the ropes for a good minute.
Whoa. Sims with a good cross.
Winging shots here.
Greenberg comes back. Again, Sims tagging him. Something woke Sims.
Good for Sims. Full of fight to the end.
Hey, let's go another round. Oh, both fighters. A slugfest at the end.
Greenberg with a huge right, very nice right hands. I thought clearly his best punch. So a convincing, if altogether not completely crowd-pleasing fight here at the Garden. Roman Greenberg, it would be hard to argue against him losing a single round in this fight against Michael Sims. In fairness to Sims, he came on big in the second half of the fight. At least looked like he was trying to win moments of rounds and perhaps steal a few. But if he was out to avoid a slugfest, he did a good job of that. And we see this man, Roman Greenberg, doing enough to win probably every round, as we said. He let his hands go in spurts. He was able to fight when he wanted to fight, rest when he wanted to rest.
Sure, and when you're a young fighter trying to learn how to go the distance, try to learn some things, pick up some things from these old veteran fighters. I fought a lot of these fighters like Sims that were veteran types that you learn things off of. He didn't learn in this fight how to knock out his opponent, but I'm certain that he learned a lot about himself and about his opponent and picked up some new skills that could be valuable in his career.
It's a beautiful sight. We're here in New York City. Nick Charles with Sean O'Grady. It's a Saturday night in Manhattan. They call it the Mecca of Boxing. Madison Square Garden. Roman Greenberg. We'll see if he swept the cards, the three judges here against Michael Sims. Greenberg 24-0. He was coming off 3 straight stoppages. This one goes the distance. And credit, as Sean indicated, Sims' staying power in terms of being a survivor. Last short evening he had was 2.5 years ago. But he has looked dominating at times. And he certainly has stuck around for most of his fights, and he's a smaller guy. Greenberg, by far the bigger man here, the busier one, the more effective one, as this one goes the full 10.
And it's going to be interesting, too, Nick, to see how he comes off of this and tries to improve.
I also think he can improve during a fight, and I think those are the critical things to make more things happen. Improve within a fight, and of course, train the way you fight or fight the way you train. We'll see if Greenberg, and it would be a miracle if he's not now 25-0, but Bob Alexander will make that official now.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Madison Square Garden, after 10 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards. All 3 judges, Larry Hazard Jr., Ron McNair, and John McCain, score the bout identical, 99-91, for your winner by unanimous decision, Roman Greenberg.
Well, I think we were right on our call.
Oh, no, I was wrong. Oh, Sims won a round.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Sims won 1 round.
Greenberg won them all, but he absolutely was the dominating performer here tonight in this fight.
99-91. It may have been that 7th round. Remember, Sims had a pretty good round, and I think Greenberg was taking off that round. But Greenberg gets the victory and hopefully learns some stuff in this fight.
As we finish this fight and tell you that our main event is coming up next. Sultan Ibragimov, the unbeaten